What up, Black man? Welcome to the Dude Make Something podcast, where we focus on helping Black men to overcome mediocrity, to become beneficial men for their community by discussing faith, creativity, art and culture, personal development, and mental health management. I'm your host, Jamal Calpin. What's going on, people on Instagram? What's going on, people on YouTube? And what's going on, people who are listening to the podcast in audio form? Let's start with the mental check-in, where I'm going to share with you where I am, what's going on with me as we are starting a new week. Kind of discussing last week. We'll do a high, a low, and kind of like where I am or what's going on. So let's see, a high from last week. So one of my highs from last week, because I had many different like highs, things that I really enjoyed or whatever. But a high that I had last week is that I was able to binge watch the Stranger Things series. So I've been watching it since it came out on Netflix. But when the fourth season dropped this year, I think it was late May or early, or it might have been late or mid June. My wife and I, we were moving, we were traveling and stuff like that. So I was just going to wait. And also with their release, they were going to release like a first half of episodes and then like a last half of episodes. And for me, I don't want to wait for any more episodes. Like just drop everything and I'll watch it when I, get the chance to do it. So the high was I was able to sit and watch the show. I probably won't do that again because binge watching TV isn't that productive. But, I have a podcast episode about entertainment versus actually creating. I'd rather be spending time creating. But, I watched the show. It was okay. I think I was hoping that it would just end. But now I know that they're, they leave you like with this cliffhanger that they're going to be making more episodes or making another season, which is fine. I get it. Like it's a entertaining show. I get the concept. It's just, I don't know. For me, like it kind of feels like it's giving me Dragon Ball Z vibes. Like it just keeps leveling up how crazy this stuff is. And then of course you have Elle, who's like the only superhero really of the whole thing. So she reminds me of Goku because she has to save everybody all the time. Like there are other characters that play a part, but no, like as the story is progressing and as the danger is becoming more dangerous, what are they going to do? Like literally everybody else is Krillin. Everybody else is Krillin in this series. And at some point they're not going to be able to do anything, but hey, that's what people want to watch. That's how the series is going to go. I don't know, unless something changes. Maybe she will be able to give telekinetic powers to other people. Maybe other people will be able to train, or everybody's going to become superheroes. I don't know. I do realize I will not be doing that again. I will not be binging something because I don't know. It feels kind of like a waste of time. But it was a high though because I enjoyed the series. A low for me. Okay, I'll try to make this quick. A low for me is I was hanging out with my wife and our friend Marquita yesterday, and we went to a Crocs store near a mall that's near where we live here in the DMV, and like literally a Crocs store where you can go and buy the clogs and stuff like that, or Jibbitz or anything's related to the Crocs brand. So we're there hanging out. They were having a sale. While we were there, my wife and I were looking at a clearance rack because we were just kind of there hanging out, but they had a lot of stuff on sale. They had Jibbitz on sale. And so Jibbitz, for those who don't wear Crocs or know anything about them, are the little charms and stuff that you can put on the actual Croc itself to design it and to make it unique or whatever. So we were looking at that, and there's like a stand. There's Crocs not Crocs. There are Jibbitz on one side and Jibbitz on another. Like it's called Jibbitz. The name is silly, but Jibbitz on one side and Jibbitz on another side. So we're standing there and we're looking at it, and other people are in line. Other people are looking at Crocs, like the actual shoes and sandals and stuff. And we're standing there looking and going through this clearance rack. And so there are a lot of it's not disheveled, but there's a lot of Jibbitz there. And so you kind of go through them, and there are a lot of different ones, and my wife's trying to find the ones that she likes the most. So we're spending some time there, and people come to the rack, look at stuff and maneuver around, grab something or whatever. So we're there, we're standing there looking through them, and we're getting ready to, I think, stop looking because my wife had found stuff that she liked. And so this lady who was standing next to us, who was also looking at stuff, looking at Jibbitz next to us, to me, she was just standing there looking at stuff just like we were. She abrasively reaches across me and kind of to the end of the stand. So, it's just like a flat wall kind of thing. And so we're, again, making our way. And so we're like to the end of it where it ends. And so like there's that last row of Jibbitz. And my wife is to the right of me and I'm here in the middle. She reaches across me and I might be like a foot from this Jibbitz stands or whatever, but she reaches across me in my personal space, like abrasively, to try to grab some Jibbitz. I don't even know, like she just reaches across, doesn't say anything, just reaches across and like gets in my space. And so my wife and I look at this lady with confusion and bewilderment because, again, she's just pops in and is just there and just reaches across. And so we're kind of like, what? And both of us like, yeah, excuse me, like you could say something. What is this or whatever? Like, why are you that's rude. You're just reaching across into my personal space, being all abrasive or whatever. And she started saying something about like, you saw me standing here, you waiting, taking all along and stuff like that. And both of us, kind of look at her trying to be calm and kind. It's like, well, sure, but you could have said something. You could have said, excuse me, which is what most people do when they want somebody's attention or they want to make their concerns or demands or requests known. They use their words to communicate because that's just the polite common. I don't know. It's my understanding of what the polite and common courtesy kind of thing is. Like it would be different if you were saying things to us and we were ignoring you, like you were saying, excuse me, oh, can I look at this or whatever? No, you didn't say anything to us. You didn't say anything to me. You didn't say anything to my wife. You just popped up, showed up, abrasively reaching across into my personal space. Again, like she's in my personal space. Like I could have, if I needed to, if this is somebody else, I'm not advocating any harm or violence towards anybody, and definitely not to women. But she was that close that if I had real issues and I had a really short fuse for certain stuff, yeah, she could have got bopped or just pushed into this Jibbitz because she was that close and that like the way she showed up in my space was that abrasive. And so we are responding to her at this point, trying to respond to her calmly and saying like, ma'am, okay, like one, she's having a very, very nasty attitude. I'm sorry if she was having a bad day. But again, that's really not my problem. I will respect you in the sense of like, if you communicate it to me, I'll excuse myself. I understand that you may be in a rush, but how am I supposed to know that if you don't talk to me, if you don't say anything? Like, please use your words. Anyways, to make it short, it kind of escalated and she's raising her voice. And, in response, sometimes our voices start to respond, raise along with it. And it was just stupid. It was just so dumb because this lady was being abrasive, rude, so unkind over Jibbitz. And I get it. It's a sale. You're probably buying stuff for your kids or for your family or whatever. Maybe. I don't know. But that does not give you the right to be a jerk to me and my wife. It does not give you a right to be abrasive and come up all in my space. It does not give you the right to do that. I'm sorry. Whatever your day is, whatever your time schedule is, there's that saying that your emergency is not my problem, and it's sure, like it's the idea that you need other people to like drop everything that they're doing to accommodate you because you're having an emergency, like you're stressed out about stuff. No, that's not true. And I say that from the place of like, I would understand if I was in an emergency or I was having a situation and I would want people to help me. I'm talking about like, these are situations that people usually can have control over. I'm not talking about like ambulance, you're rushing into the hospital, somebody's arm fell off. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who are like, oh, I have a deadline that I forgot about. And now I'm running into FedEx, Kinko's or Staples or whatever. And these people are taking too long printing flyers for their daughter's quinceañera. Like, and now you're fussing and angry because your paper or whatever that's due or whatever you need for work, you're late for. No, like I'm sorry, this person is here printing something for their child's birthday or whatever in this example. And you can't, I mean, I understand you're valid, your feelings are valid. So you can be upset and angry, but just because you have an emergency, it's not immediately my problem. It becomes my problem if you're getting in my space. It becomes my problem if you are now yelling in the store and making a scene. It becomes my problem. And we're going to handle that problem. You're not going to talk to us this way, and I'm not going to engage you in this nonsense over Jibbitz. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So that happened. And I would say that was like the low of my week. I don't know. I mean, I was kind of feeling discouraged in the week for some other stuff, but I think that experience kind of ruined that, or top that, I should say, because to me, it's just silly. Like, I'm learning more and more how important communication is and how much work we need to do on communicating and relating to other people in general. One, how we communicate to ourselves, but also how we relate to other brothers, how we relate to sisters or spouses or, women. Like, it's so important. So many things could be resolved if we just communicated better, if we just expressed ourselves more effectively and communicated. But a lot of times people don't know how to communicate. And it just leads to issues, unnecessary, silly issues. It leads to unnecessary, silly issues. And it can just, because the thing is, in situations like that, this lady had no clue who we were. She has no clue what our MO could have been. It's interesting. I feel like sometimes people get really lucky. Sometimes, not every time. Sometimes people like to pop off on people and try to act big and bad and abrasive and stuff. And sometimes I think they get the right people in the sense of like, oh, this is a person that is going to be kind to you, that's going to be well reserved, or, you're used to bullying people and being abrasive to people, and they kind of just fold to your actions. Like, they won't be confrontational, but you never know, because that day that you are feeling flustered, that day that you are feeling angry or frustrated, or you're having an emergency and you need everybody else to think, to deal with your problem, as your emergency, and they need to, cater to you. There's a day, which happens to some people, and we see it on the internet. You pick the wrong person. Because I know if there was a man or a woman in my place who did not have the patience that I do, or like the long suffering to deal with people, one, invading their personal space, two, invading their personal space in such an abrasive and rude way, that lady would have got fought. And the thing is, it was three of us there, and it was just her. And I know some people, to be honest, like fighting. There are people who like fighting, who like conflict, who like hurting other people. They find enjoyment in that, or they like arguing and telling you about yourself and making you feel very, very bad. There are people who can go 0 to 100 very, very quick, and who could care less about the consequences, who couldn't care less about is that right? Couldn't care less about the consequences that come with their actions. And I think we're seeing it more and more as time's going on, especially when it comes to like road rage and things like that. You do not know what people, where they are, who they are. You don't know. You could be in Crocs and then walk out or be carried out. You don't know. And I'm not saying that as in like, we're going to harm this lady or anything like that. No, because again, for us, this is stupid. We're here getting Jibbitz from a Croc store. But there are a lot of cases and a lot of situations that people just don't communicate well and push people to their limits. And it's not good. And especially as men, like, I think it's really important that we do have that self-control, because a lot of situations in our community, things start with arguments, and then somebody gets hurt, or somebody dies, somebody gets shot, or somebody gets stabbed. I remember when the Popeye's chicken came out, the Popeye's chicken sandwich, when it came out, and like the peak of it, stuff like that. Somebody got stabbed in our like county over a Popeye's chicken sandwich. Like, this is ridiculous. Again, that's not good for us. It's not good for our community. And as men, like, it's important that we learn how to, especially as we get older and more mature, we have to learn how to de-escalate confrontation and conflict in a constructive way. Because there's ways that you can communicate both sides and resolve an issue without harm. But that takes a level of skill, level of communication, understanding, and, self-restraint. Because sometimes it just, again, 0 to 100 very, very quickly. But anyways, I think that was the low of the low of my week. Anyways, this is a new week, so we're moving on. We're excited about that, and I hope you check in with yourself. What was your high of the week? What was your low of the week? And process it. Why was your low the low? Why was your high the high? And try to focus on creating more opportunities for more highs in your life. For me, no, I'm not going to be binge watching more stuff, but I am going to find opportunity to find things that I enjoy, make more opportunities for that.